Hello, this is Sam Simon, also known as Dementia Man, for my video blog for the week of May 20th. And this is going to be an abbreviated blog, and I'm going to invite you to listen to me being interviewed on a blog by Ralph Nader called the Ralf Nader Hour. And if go to whatever podcast service you use and look for the Ralf Nader Hour, and you'll be able to listen to me being interviewed by Ralf Nader about a book that I'm the editor and compiler of, and it's called Choosing the Public Interest. Now, why would you care? Well, the Dementia Man play is based on my life and my role to becoming someone with a cognitive impairment. And a theme of it is me as a troublemaker. And a big part of that, and even in the play, I talk about causing a lot of trouble with, yes, Ralf Nader, that Ralf Nader, and how we did so much advocacy in the world for a better and more efficient government, seatbelts and airbags in every car. It's what got me on a lot of TV shows back then. In 1970, it's about the 1970 group of people who started to work with Ralph right out of law school, which has now become, 54 years later, the foundation for what is known as Public Interest Research Group Network, Public Interest Network. They're the publisher of the book. And I would love you to be able to listen to me and talk about my troublemaking years. It is part of the play. It is part of my own journey. And it is a continuing part of my life. That even with this cognitive impairment, even with early stage Alzheimer's, rather than ending my life, I'm moving ahead and causing even more trouble. I want the world to adapt to us as they adapted to other people with disabilities. I urge a reform in the so-called dementia. I hate that word. In fact, one of my advocacy pieces is to get rid of that word. And I also want the medical world, particularly the neurology world, to change and to align with the family needs of people diagnosed. I hear over and over again the same story. The doctor said, we're only going to get worse, and then they send us off into the world to find our own way. I argue that no neurologist should be allowed to practice in the business of diagnosing cognitive disabilities, cognitive mental issues without an infrastructure of some sort of social work or navigator to help the families. And indeed, I also argue that there should be cognitive navigators, CNs, people to help us navigate the world as available as curb cuts, that we, even with our disease, for many of years of our life after diagnosis, and it can be 5 to 10 years, that we'll be able to find help and assistance in navigating the world with our disease, just as everyone with other disabilities are often given accommodations. So please, you can find the podcast at the Ralf Nader Hour. And just Google Ralf Nader Hour podcast. It's on any one of the podcast platforms, Apple or Spotify, any of them. And listen to, you'll see the one for this week, and I'm the first guest. The second guest, by the way, is someone from the organization, Public Interest Research Group Today. And you'll hear how what we started in 1970 has become this national movement. And it's really inspiring me to see what others are doing with it. Finally, you can get a copy of the book easily. You can see more about it at choosethepublicinterest.org. Choosethepublicinterest.org. So here you go. I'm going to click on the Ralf Nader Hour and listen to how Sam Simon started his troublemaking years, and I'm still at it.